Your daily dose of sports talk is here. Highlights, interviews, and analysis. From the entertainment capital of the world, SportsWrap with Jason Page starts now.
And it's good to have you with us on this Wednesday edition of the show. So much to do over the next 60 minutes, as we do each and every day. We'll be joined, Wednesdays are busy shows. We'll be joined for our NBA Weekly by Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. They're fantastic NBA insider. A lot to run through with him. Victor Wembanyama, Luka Dončić, the Rookie of the Year race, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the whole mess in Milwaukee. We'll get to all of it coming up with Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com in the NBA Weekly. David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer, joins us for our SportsWrap Inside Baseball segments. Those coming up a little later on in the show. We'll get into some of the top stories from around Major League Baseball, including one that we'll get to coming up here in the big story. Odds and ends with the end for one tennis racket that was very unlucky yesterday at Monte Carlo. And, of course, news out of hockey with Alex Ovechkin. But we start things out, as we always do, on this Wednesday edition of the show. It's time for the big story. And the big story today starts in the NFL, interestingly enough, where we are 15 days away from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, where they'll have this big outdoor event. And Roger Goodell will take to the podium, and he'll get booed lustily by the fans. And he'll get up on the podium, and he'll say that the Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. And then a few minutes later, he'll get back up to the podium, and he'll say, with the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders have selected Fernando Mendoza from the University of Indiana. And everybody will go crazy. And Roger Goodell will be left standing by himself at the podium with a Las Vegas Raiders jersey. And then you will see a shot of Fernando Mendoza in his home with his family celebrating the fact that he was just drafted first overall in the draft by the Las Vegas Raiders, because Fernando Mendoza has decided to forego the NFL draft experience that a lot of quarterbacks have gone through, this rite of passage where you show up on draft night back in the old days at Radio City Music Hall, and now wherever the NFL draft is held every year, and has decided he wants to stay at home and do it with his family. Totally his prerogative. But I wonder if this is going to become more and more of a theme around the NFL every year. If more and more players are going to say, I don't need the red carpet experience. I don't need to throw on all this bling and have this experience and go get trotted out in front of the fans. I have never, for one, of all the people in the world that cover sports for a living and watch sports for a living, which I am very blessed to do, I have never understood the concept of the NFL draft, the NBA draft, where people literally flock to a TV, or in this case, hundreds of thousands of people go and stand around to watch a guy come out on stage, hold a uniform, smile for some cameras, and then leave. I have never understood it. I get it if you want to go pay hundreds of dollars to go sit in the stands and watch your favorite team. I get it if you want to go pay even thousands of dollars and go to a playoff game or the Super Bowl. I have never understood the concept of let's go and bear the elements and stand outside amongst all these people, drunk people, all of this, and go watch a bunch of guys walk out in suits and hold up a jersey and then walk off the stage. I've never understood it. So I get where Fernando Mendoza is coming from, saying, hey, I'm too cool for school. The last, by the way, first overall pick to do this and not show up, Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars a few years back. I think it was 2021. But I wonder if more players are going to decide to do this. Something to watch. Big story number one. Big story number two. The Pittsburgh Pirates have done something. Hello to our friends watching, by the way, on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Pirates have done something that I think their fan base should be really happy about today. They have signed Konnor Griffin to a 9-year, $140 million contract. Look, Fans in Pittsburgh have been clamoring for this franchise to do something that shows a commitment to winning. And now they've done it. There is a lot of risk that comes with giving a guy that's got 17 major league at-bats. I want to repeat that for the people in the back of the room in case you can't hear me. 17 major league at-bats for Konnor Griffin. And he's getting $140 million for the next 9 years. And this is guaranteed money. This isn't an NFL 9-year, $140 million contract where you can get out after 2 or 3 years and the guy gets very little of it or only a prorated amount. No. Konnor Griffin's going to get his money. Whether he hits 300 or whether he hits 200, whether he drives in 100 runs a year or 50 runs a year, whether he hits 40 home runs or whether he hits 20, Konnor Griffin gonna get paid. 9 years, $140 million. And this is the era of baseball that we're in now, where teams are going to give out these massive contracts and pay guys early on the front side to avoid having to pay them double the amount of money that Konnor Griffin's getting right now. Because if in 3 years he's putting up the numbers they project him to put up, that 9-year deal for 140 would be 9 years for 280. So they say, let's take the shot on him. We think we know what we got here, and we'll give it to him now. And there used to be a time in sports where guys would get paid after they perform. And in some cases, guys would get paid past their prime for what they had already done, even though on the back end of those monster contracts, they may not perform up to what they are. And there's numerous examples of that. Konnor Griffin is getting it beforehand. Jose Ramirez got it beforehand. There's a lot of examples now in baseball where teams are doing this. The A's have done it with a couple of their players as they get set to move to Las Vegas in a couple of years. It's a continuing trend, I imagine we will continue to see. That is big story number 2. This portion of the show, The Big Story, is presented by our friends at Colossus Fantasy. Colossus Fantasy, pick'em games, peer-to-peer, they have it all. Right now, go and use my deposit code, my promo code. When you go to sign up for the first time, make that first deposit, use my promo code, SportsWrap, get yourself a great deposit bonus. On a $10 deposit, you get yourself a $40 bonus. When you make a $20 deposit, you get a $80 bonus. That's right. $10 deposit, $40 bonus, $20 deposit, and $80 bonus right now with Colossus Fantasy. Go and download the app today and start winning. All right, a lot more to do on the show. Kurt Helin, our NBA Weekly. We're talking hoops next on Sports Wrap. Welcome back to the show. I've had my say in the big story. Let's talk some NBA because it's a Wednesday. That means this guy is here. The one and only Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Hangs out with us every Wednesday on the show. It's the NBA Weekly. All right, let's get to the...
with such authority. It makes it sound better. I like that.
That's what we do. Actually watched a little bit last night. I've been so bad the last 2 weeks, and maybe it's because, and I think I've started to figure out why I haven't watched as much the last 2 weeks. Yes, part of it was baseball, part of it was the NCAA tournament. The other part is we kind of know who's going to the playoffs at this point.
Well, the 20 teams, the seeding isn't totally locked up.
No,
there's especially in the East, there's some flexibility, but the 20 teams were selected, like the cutoff line, partially just because of all the tanking, was so early this year that we knew the 20 teams going to the postseason more than a week ago, which is kind of crazy because usually you're down to that final day and teams fighting for spots and stuff, and it's just not that way this year.
Yeah, it's like when you have a steak and you got to let it settle for after you've cooked it. You got to kind of let it sit for like 10 minutes before you eat it. That's kind of like feels like where we are right now in all of this. So I'm maybe that's why I'm not watching as much because now it's just the calm before the storm. But it's really not that calm because there's a lot that's happened here over the last week. Start with the Wemby injury. And this sort of dilemma that the Spurs have, because I said it yesterday on the show. If I'm them, I put him in bubble wrap and he doesn't play another minute. I know they can't do that because of the 65 game thing and what it means for postseason awards and incentives and all these different things. So he's got to get out there and play a game for 20 minutes in order to satisfy the 65 game rule. At the same time, he's got this bruised rib that they were dealing with. Where are we on Wemby right now?
Exactly what you said. For people, by the way, who look up his stats, you go to Basketball Reference or whatever and look up his ESPN, whatever, look up his stats, and you say, he's only played in 63 games. No, he's played in 64 because he played in the NBA Cup final, which does not count as an official statistic, but does count towards your 65 games. Anyway, he's got to play 20 minutes in one more game and will. And for that reason, look, at the end of the day, keep your superstars happy. And if the awards matter to him. He's talked about campaigning for it. He is going to be first team All-NBA. First ever unanimous defensive player of the year will be my guess. It's just there for him, and he's going to play 20 minutes. Probably not Wednesday night against Portland, but in one of the two remaining games they've got after that, if not both, he'll play and get out there and get his numbers. So he will play. It matters, and it is just look according to the MRI info and what's been released. It's just a bruised rib, which is usually 3-4 days in a game. This isn't something that would normally keep somebody out that long. So bringing him back isn't crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, look, when you think about the Cade Cunningham stuff, which we'll talk about later, we would just think, it's a bruised rib. But you never know. When somebody grabs their side now, you think about Cade Cunningham and a punctured lung and all this stuff. So you just never know. You can't be safe enough.
Yeah, if it had been a cracked rib or something else, then there would have been a different conversation. If it's just a bruise, then that's really just pain management, frankly.
Yeah. All right.
So it's not that bad.
So that's where we are on Wemby. Let's go to the Lakers. Luka. It was worst case scenario, the grade 2 hamstring strain. What are we to read from him going overseas for treatment?
Yeah, I was at the Laker game last night, and this is where they are as a team right now. Drew Timme started and was playing point forward and led the team in scoring at halftime. That's all you need to know. There were 3 Gonzaga players that's starting that game, and Chet always starts, but Chet Holmgren, but for the Thunder. But anyway, look, he's trying to find a way back. He is trying an injection treatment of some kind in Spain, and I assume that also involves tapas and sangria because it's Spain. But he's trying to find a way back sooner. The problem is, this, I know this, everybody who's a sports fan watching this knows, muscle injuries, soft tissue injuries, especially in the hamstring, just take time. You can't rush the process, really. It's 4 to 6 weeks, and if he's out 4 to 6 weeks, he misses even most of the first round of playoffs. The Lakers will not put a time, they're not going to put a return time on, where they kind of did with Austin Reeves. They are not doing that with him. They're not saying he will be back on this date or he's got to be out this long anymore. The problem is they're probably lining up now to be against Houston in a 4-5 matchup in the first round. If it's just LeBron, if it's against them, they are in a lot of trouble. And even if he came back by the end, they'd be in such a hole. It would be too deep a hole to get out of.
It's amazing how quick your fortunes can change in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the 3 seed. Everybody thought, they were in that next tier. And then this happens. Do they feel like if they do get through that first round, he could be back for the second round?
In theory, yes. That's probably about the right timeline that he'd be back. The problem you've got with both of these injuries, frankly, and I'm going to include Austin Reeves in this, is that it hits them in how they play. This isn't just Luka's game is driving with those sharp hesitation moves, start and stop really fast. That stop, pull up jumper, that's all strain on your hamstring. Your hamstring has got to be all the way back to play Luka's game, to do the step in and fade away. All the stuff that makes Luka puts a lot of strain on his hamstring, and it's got to be all the way back. And conversely, same thing, Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, Austin Reeves, 4 to 6 weeks with an oblique, but oblique strain, grade 2. His game is body contortion and body control. It is driving the lane, and his body's kind of going everywhere, and he's able to get the ball and his arms into the right position. It's a lot harder to do that when you've got an oblique strain. This really hits them where they play, and they've got to be all the way back to be the guys they need them to be in the playoffs, especially going up again, that first round, Houston is loaded with long athletic defenders. I mean, starting with Amen Thompson and working its way down, there is just defenders all over that roster that's going to make their lives difficult if they're healthy. So it's just a really tough spot.
And we've seen what happens to them against athletic teams. And now you're losing Luka, you're losing Reeves, and you're asking 41-year-old LeBron to basically shoulder the load for that series. Is it a 5-game series, Kurt?
Very possibly. It's really tough for them to match up. And by the way, if you're Houston, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, everybody wanted to play Houston. That's the team we want. That's the team with the most glaring weakness. Now it's the Lakers and Houston. If it does land like it looks like it will with a 4-5 and Houston advances, is Houston's front office now thinking, hey, we made the second round. It's better than we thought it was.
Kurt Helin's hanging out with us. It's the NBA Weekly here on SportsWrap. We're coming back. Giannis news to get to, as well as Cade Cunningham. We'll talk about it all next. The NBA Weekly continues on this Wednesday with our friend Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. You can check out his work there. Boy, what's it, DEFCON 1? Have we reached DEFCON 1 when it comes to this Giannis Antetokounmpo situation in Milwaukee with the Bucks? So where are we on this?
Yeah, it is finally blown up, and it's become messy over the stupidest things, but frankly, like, everybody involved gets blame here. But what really finally set it off is Giannis wanting to get back on the court at the end of the season, even though, look, the Bucks did what 29 other teams would do, which is, hey, you've had 5 separate injuries this year. You've played in 36 games. You're all kind of, and it's like soft tissue stuff.
Yep.
Just rest it. Just don't. We literally can't make the playoffs. No team would be wanting him back. Every team would be doing exactly what the Bucks are doing. But frankly, I think he wants to play with his brothers because he realizes this little era is coming to an end. Mm-hmm. The Bucks bent over backwards over the years to have his brothers on the team. He wants to get out there one time and play with them. And frankly, at this point, why not? Like, just let him go out and risk. You know, I hate to say that, but like, if he wants it at this point, let him play a game with them. The whole thing is an absolute mess, though. The split this summer is coming, and look, man, the Bucks played this out too long, and the fact that, look, when somebody should have been the adult in the room last year and go, wait, you want to waive Damian Lillard and eat $22.5 million a year for 4 years out after this one so that we can go get Miles Turner? This is the plan, right? Somebody should have stopped it there. Giannis, dude, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, I had a handshake agreement. If you read, there's a lengthy piece by Shams at ESPN. I had a handshake agreement. They were going to trade me so I didn't have to ask for a trade and look like the bad guy. No, look, you don't get to do it that way. You have, if you want out, and if you just step forward and said, look, man, we won a championship. We've had a great run, but I want to compete as my career comes to an end. I want to move on. Most Bucks fans even would have been okay with that, but now it's been a mess. Everybody has handled this poorly, including Doc Rivers, who's also out.
Well, that's the other thing, is the mess in Milwaukee, is Doc, who goes into a locker room apparently and says, don't you guys know who I am? He basically pulled the, don't you know? It's like me when I go into McDonald's and they forget to give me the buffalo sauce with my nuggets, and I go, don't you know who I am? You forgot to give me the buffalo sauce? He basically pulled one of those with a bunch of NBA players, and they looked at him like, we don't care. You won with a bunch of, with 3 Hall of Famers, Doc. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It was Google me, which, by the way, I'm just going to say, in the Lakers media room last night, that was like the running joke. Well, I'm sorry, I was Googling Doc. It's just, the whole thing is a mess. And I think he owned up to it at the end. I don't think he ever coaches again. I think he's just done with it. Never say never, because somebody might bring him back, but he sounded like a guy ready to get a broadcast job in a studio somewhere, where, by the way, he's very good.
Yes, he is.
Very, very good broadcast guy. He's going to get a job doing that somewhere so he can spend more time. He says with his grandkids. Anybody that knows him means that just means more golfing. Like but he's going. I would be shocked if he's not on NBC or Amazon or ESPN. He'll be somewhere next year.
Okay.
And doing it, and he won't be back on the sideline.
Okay. Knueppel, Cooper Flagg. I have talked about this at great length over the last couple of days. Are they going to screw Knueppel out of this Rookie of the Year award because of, two big games here from Cooper Flagg? I know he's had a couple of nice 40-point performances and all this stuff. He had 51 in a loss, by the way, a blowout loss. He had 40-plus again. But it feels like Knueppel still should win this award. The odds have flipped. Coming into today, I'll look at what they are while you give me an answer on this. But where are we right now? I know that's my popular phrasing of questions today. I just noticed. Must be a crutch. Where are we right now on this Rookie of the Year debate? What are you hearing?
I'll tell you, just as a voter, I find the recency bias of the odds and people.
By the way, it's jumped up even more now. Cooper Flagg is now minus 360, and Knueppel is plus 230. Infuriating.
I will tell you that as a voter, look, first off, if you noticed, ESPN attached to their MVP straw poll last week a Rookie of the Year straw poll, and it was like 85-15 or something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but like the number of first place votes for versus Cooper was huge. Dallas, I will tell you behind the scenes, is calling media voters and they're massaging this a little. I think he gets a little closer, but I don't think he makes up the ground. In my case, look, at the end of the day, Khan's played a lot more minutes, and he's played in meaningful games. He is a key player for a team headed to the postseason. They're in that morass in the middle of the East, so we'll see exactly where they land. I can tell you that Boston and Detroit at the top are like, man, I don't want to have, like, we can beat them, but that's a lot more work than I want to put in the first round. Like, that's a team that's scares is the wrong word, but it's going to make you really work. That's an impressive Charlotte team that's really come together. I just can't see Khan losing this. I still think maybe it gets closer for some people, but I just don't think that many people are going to flip suddenly based on, like you said, as great as Cooper is based on 2 games. And I think Cooper is going to be the best player 3 years from now, best player out of this class. And by the way, I'll put Dylan Harper second. I think he's like that good.
Do you think that Dallas tries to even pad Cooper's numbers more over these last few games to try and get him the award?
I wouldn't be shocked. What else are you going to do? Like, they're out, they're tanking. Yeah. The heavy Cooper feeding, like lining it up. But again, that's where what differentiates it for me. Part of it at the core is simply that Khan's going to get whatever numbers Khan gets over the next handful of games to end this, 3 games to end the season or whatever it is. In games that matter, that team has got to win games. It is in meaningful, important games. And that matters to me. Him playing in those minutes and playing well in those minutes matters more than racking up 50 in a tanking game.
It's going to lead to a lot of questions about how we gauge these awards, Kurt. Because you're talking about it in the context of what the team does as well. And there are going to be people that argue, well, it's Rookie of the Year. It's not Rookie on the best team of the year. It really is going to lead to an interesting debate.
And I will say, for me personally, with Rookie of the Year, team success tends to matter way less.
Yeah.
Like MVP or something, or All NBA, simply because those guys get drafted onto crap teams. Like, that's just, well, we're trying to flatten the lottery odds and screw that up. But in theory, you're supposed to put the best players on the worst teams to start balancing things out. So that is going to happen. But in this case, again, meaningful minutes to me matter, and Khan's been that guy.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. That's the NBA Weekly. Always appreciate you, my man. Be well.
Oh, anytime.
Welcome back to the show. Continue the conversation on this Wednesday. We do 2 big things on Wednesday. We have the NBA Weekly, and we go inside baseball with this guy, the one and only David Aardsma, MLB analyst, former reliever, closer. All right, let's jump into it. Konnor Griffin, I wake up this morning, getting paid after just a few games of service in the major leagues, Dave. Come on, I know you don't try to keep a straight face on this. This stuff has to make you kind of just go like, what? Like, what is going on here? He gets 9 years, $140 million after playing just a few games in the majors. I get the idea behind it. It's the Jose Ramirez theory, what the Guardians have done with him, what the Rays wanted to do with Wander Franco before he started diddling little girls. I mean, seriously, organizations have taken this approach to get guys early, but boy, it is a big risk when you're talking about that much money for somebody who's played so little at this level.
The contract this one reminds me of, obviously structured a lot different, and he had already proven himself a little bit, was Tatis Jr. Right when he first came up early, they signed him this massive deal that could be a huge deal or a huge risk depending on how he performs. Obviously, there's been a whole lot of different problems since then, but Konnor Griffin, I mean, they're taking a shot. They're going for it. I like it. I think they should have done this with Paul Skeens. That should have been the first spot, and it kind of shows me that because Paul Skeens isn't signing something that's going to obviously come to a head at some point, but so they're getting ahead of all their other big studs. Konnor Griffin, what we saw in spring training was just incredible. I know it's such a small sample size now in the big leagues. It's only 17 at bats and 3 hits. But this dude's a stud, and they see him as again, you're not giving this money out just to players that are good. You're giving them out to players that you see them wearing their uniform, their hat, being the franchise player for a long time. And it's a huge risk, but I like it for how much crap the owners in Pittsburgh have gotten and how many people are talking about, off with their heads and everything. This has to, at least look at it from a fan base standpoint, give them something to believe in. I just don't like when I see pictures of Paul Skeens starting and there's nobody in the crowd.
9,000 people.
That is absurd to me. And I know it's a outburst of anger towards the ownership versus the team, because the team on the field's a pretty good little
They're 7-4.
They're good ball club, and we saw this kind of coming with that pitching staff, and now the big question last year was why they have no hitters. Now they have hitters, and so I love this team. I love that city. I love that ballpark. Now hopefully they get off the owners' butts a little bit and start going, hey, they put together a pretty good little team. Like, let's believe in this stuff.
Yeah, it's going to take a little time, I think, for people to believe. Speaking of believing, nobody seems to believe in Tony Vitello and the San Francisco Giants. He got ejected from a game this week. And I wanted to ask you about this because I saw Schneider get ejected last night from a game. John Schneider get ejected from a game for the Blue Jays. Everybody likes to think this fires up a team when this happens. As somebody, and maybe it's different because you're a million miles away sitting in the bullpen when this stuff happens. Maybe it fires up guys in the dugout more than it fires up guys in the bullpen. Does that stuff work? Do guys really get fired up when their managers go out there and get tossed from a game?
A lot of times from the bullpen, we don't even know why they're getting ejected, and then we kind of forget about it. We realize, like, it's an 8th inning and you see someone else making a pitching change. You're like, oh, that's right. That happened. There are times what you need, the reason why this is, and there's times to fire up that clubhouse, because sometimes you just need a kick in the butt and something needs to get, you got to shake the tree a little bit, right? It's not more like, oh, I'm going to get our guys to finally be motivated. It's more of, I just need to shake this tree, get them off their whatever that's going on, try something new. And that's a lot of it. There's also times where you have to show your ball club that you have their back. If you truly believe that something went against your team that is not right, or that you just kind of need to fire them up and saying, I got you, like you get me. I'm going to come out here and fight in front of everybody, get ejected. You better show me the same mentality. That's all it is. It's not saying, oh, I'm going to motivate you. No, it's, I'm going to give you this. You give me that right back because you have it in them. If you didn't believe that your team could do that, you're not going to go out there and go get ejected. You're trying to fire them up to the level that they should be. That's why people think like, oh, we're going to rise up. No, we're going to rise to the level that they should be every single day. And that's a lot of times like Schneider. I love that one. I thought it was borderline balk anyways, but I like that he went up there and fired it. He's a fiery guy. That's a fiery team. And it didn't really benefit, but at the same time, you need to show that.
In the last minute of this segment, is the anxiety on Tony Vitello in San Francisco warranted?
Yes and no. He was going to have so much pressure regardless. There was going to be so much anxiety. They're 4-8. They've also played a record. The who they played has been ridiculous. Let's just be honest. They played the team that's projected to win the American League, one of the best teams in baseball, and the Padres that just gets overlooked because of the Dodgers. The Mets, who's projected to win the East, and the Phillies have been great for 4 or 5 years in a row. They played one of the hardest schedules I could ever imagine opening up. Pump the brakes. I just wanted him to figure out that clubhouse. That's the bigger problem. Figure out that clubhouse. He admitted that there was like 3 little clubhouse issues already. And he was talking to the San Francisco SF Gate about it. So you've got to figure out that clubhouse, get Chapman in line, get those guys in line, Devers, Adames, and get them in the right place.
David Aardsma's hanging out with us. Sports Wrap goes inside baseball every Wednesday. We got another segment to chat about with him. Nick Kurtz off to a slow start with the A's. Is it cause for concern? We'll get into all of that and a bunch more as we continue on this Wednesday. Odds and Ends wraps it up 10 minutes from now, but Sports Wrap continues inside baseball on our Wednesday edition of the show with the great David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer. By the way, I saw the video of you on Facebook. 310 pounds?
Yes.
Look at you.
Pumped. I missed 350.
Literally pumped. 310 pounds.
Well, my wife wrote me a nice little sweet message.
I saw. She's giving you crap.
Yeah, because I missed it last week, so I had to hit it.
All right, Nick Kurtz off to a slow start. We talk about, young players and getting money and all these things. Nick Kurtz off to a slow start after the Rookie of the Year last year in the American League. Reason to be concerned if you're an A's fan right now?
Not at all. And again, the last couple games, it's gotten better. He's been, I think, 4 for 12 or 4 for 11 the last 3 games. This is why no concern for me is exit velocity is higher than what it was last year. Barrel percentage is higher than it was last year. Max exit velo higher. The only big change for me is launch angle. Launch angle is 3 degrees down versus 3 degrees higher, which is basically a one hopper to shortstop versus a line drive right over his head. That's really it. And then line drives create home runs. It's sophomore slump just a little bit only because of stats. I did see people are throwing more off-speed pitches, but that's kind of starting to level out a little bit. I imagine pitchers are going to go to more off-speed pitches on him because early on that was working versus like 50% fastballs. Look for that. But again, he's also walking at a higher rate, a 10% higher rate. There's a lot of really good numbers around it. Let's see. It'll even out.
The Joe Adele stuff from the weekend. I had to get your thoughts on this. I didn't text you on it when I was in California this weekend. Is it to you? Is it the greatest single defensive game in the history of Major League Baseball? Like I don't do hyperbole. I don't do wow. That's the great. Like I tend to be more measured with my reactions to things. I can't think of anybody ever having a better game in the history of baseball. And this game's been played for a zillion years, David.
Every play, all 3 of those robbing home runs, right? Every single one of them was the difference in the game. And that, to me, is what makes it. I wish it would have happened in October.
Yeah.
But at the same time that you can't pick when it happens, but it's a 1-0 ball game against an interdivision foe who won the West last year, went to the ALCS, and you robbed 3 home runs. And again, like every one was in a huge moment against a huge batter. And that's it. I still don't know how you figure out WAR. WAR to me is
Sam said this too. He's like, how does that not count for one game? How do you not get one?
He got one. He got one.
Yeah.
But like, how do you even pick that? That's a better one. Anyways, It's because it should be just 3 catches, right?
Right.
Anyway, it's the craziest thing, but I love it. And it couldn't have finished off better with flying into the stands, getting the shot of him standing up and seeing the girl behind him taking the photo and then seeing the photo. That's the cover. That's the Sports Illustrated cover, right? That's what you dream of. blow that thing up, put it on the side of the stadium, fire this team up every day.
Yeah, I think it is fantastic. And that division is going to be really one to watch the entire year. One of the teams in that division, we were talking about the Angels last night. What the Braves and the Angels? I mean, what was this brawl we saw last night? You don't get real brawls in baseball. A lot of times guys will just dance around on the field together. It's kind of like the NBA. But boy, they got into it last night with Jorge Soler and charging the mound, and they were throwing some haymakers. I don't know if any of them connected, but kind of interesting last night, huh?
There was at first it looked like nothing connected.
Yeah.
And then Lopez, you slow it down. He had a baseball in his hand with a haymaker and hits him in the head.
Oh,
with
I
the
didn't
baseball.
see that.
There will be a very solid fine and suspension for that.
Oh, I'm watching it now. Oh, there it is. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm watching it on the replay right now.
Rocks him a little bit and using a weapon. I don't know what they're going to call with that, or because he had the ball. Is he supposed to get rid of it? Anyways, great fight. Obviously, there's some tempers there. Maybe I don't know if Lopez was there when Soler was with the Braves.
Yeah.
I don't know if something there. But again, he hits a home run, he gets hit, and then another ball. I don't think that second one was as up and in as Soler made it feel like it was.
Yeah,
that ball actually wasn't that far off
close.
the plate.
No.
But again, it reminds me a lot of Manny Ramirez when that ball kind of went up in the zone and it wasn't even close to his head, but he took it as if it was. But a great brawl. Great brawl. I just hate that bullpens are so far away. We want to get in there. And you just see
by the time you get there, it's over.
You're like, God, this is exhausting. Is all it is. And then it's done.
You get in your running for the day. In the last minute in the early going here, I don't lose my mind over teams that struggle. But if there is one that you can point to, a team that's gotten off to a slow start that maybe you're a little worried about, who is it?
Man, again, it's early. It's hard to see. To me right now, the team that jumps off the page is the Boston Red Sox. You know, this is a team a lot of us believe was going to turn the page, and they've been improving. The roster's been improving. Seemed like they were getting rid of headaches left and right. ERA is 27, batting average is 21, bullpen ERA is 16. Fielding percentage hasn't been good either. There's been a good number of errors, stuff like that. There's a whole lot of issues here that need to get solved, and that's what you don't like. And then the beast of the East, you're getting lucky right now that Toronto's hasn't turned it on yet. You're getting lucky that Baltimore hasn't turned it on yet, but the Yankees already look like a really, really good team.
Yeah.
You got to figure this out quick. And when you're dealing with so many issues going down the list, that's not good. At San Francisco, obviously, we talked about a little bit too, and the same thing, where they just look bad on kind of every facet of the game. But I wasn't expecting a whole lot more. Like, they've been a 500 ball club for a while.
David Aardsma hanging out with us. Sports Wrap going inside baseball every Wednesday. Always appreciate you, my friend. Be well. We'll talk down the line.
Thank you.
Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Wednesday. Thursday on the show, Dennis Bernstein, thefourthperiod.com, Sirius XM NHL Radio to talk some hockey. Playoffs right around the corner. A lot of things happening around the NHL, a lot of moves taking place. Sam Yarnell will be back. He's off today. In case I didn't mention that. In case you didn't notice, Sam's not here today. So all of that coming up on Thursday's show. A couple of reminders before we go. Sports Wrap with Jason Page, the podcast. If you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go and check it out. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon. Anywhere you get a podcast, you can listen to this show in crystal clear audio, Monday through Friday, 45 minutes, largely commercial free. It's great while you're driving, while you're on the treadmill, in the gym, in the shower, on a plane, on a train, wherever you may be. Check out the podcast. Subscribe today. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel is the place to find all things Sports Wrap with Jason Page. The Monday through Friday TV version of the show available there. Early each afternoon, 45 minutes, commercial free, right there go and subscribe. Our companion podcasts are there as well. The SportsWrap Spotlight, the NBA Weekly with Kurt Helin, the Inside Baseball that we do every week with our friend David Ardsma, Dennis Bernstein, our conversations with him from SiriusXM NHL Radio. All of it available on our SportsWrap with Jason Page YouTube channel, as our SportsWrap Shorts, 1 to 3 minute long videos. They are great. When news breaks in sports, we jump in with SportsWrap Shorts, and we give you that breaking news with some quick analysis. Big games in sports, we cover those too. SportsWrap Shorts on the YouTube channel. Also available on our TikTok, SportsWrap Jason Page, and on our Instagram, SportsWrap Jason Page. And now, without any further delay, on this Wednesday, it's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends. The end for Alex Ovechkin, not so fast. Says he's going to decide at the end of the season. His contract with the Washington Capitals expires on June 30th. He's 40 years old. He's got a zillion goals, or 928 to be exact. More goals than anybody in the history of the game. He has over 1,000 when you count the postseason. There is thought that he might play one more year in the NHL. There's thought he might leave after this season and go play one more year in the KHL. That's a possibility. He's 40 years old. He clearly can still play. I mean, anybody who's watched him this year knows that the guy can still score with the best of them. 22nd season if he plays one more year. He's got 33 goals. Let's see. He's since scored 31 goals this season for Alex Ovechkin. I mean, it's hard to argue, with the production that he is still putting out at the age of 40. I mean, I think if he wanted to, he could get to 1,000 regular season goals. He'd have to play 2 more regular seasons to do it. But I think he could get to 1,000 regular season goals. You want to talk about the unbreakable records in sports? 1,000 regular season goals would certainly be one of them. He doesn't need to do it. I don't think he wants to do it. But Alex Ovechkin has had an amazing career, regardless of what he decides to do. Hockey is better with Alex Ovechkin in it. Obviously, I think the position that the Capitals are in and whether or not they can win and be a Stanley Cup contender probably has something to do with whatever decision he decides to make in that regard. But we'll have to see what Alex Ovechkin does. He said he will wait until after the season ends. We will wait and see what that decision is. Odds and ends, the end of a racket. That is Daniel Medvedev, who, if anybody knows, has a bit of a temper. This was Daniel Medvedev playing in Monte Carlo, one of the tune-ups for the French Open, which is around the corner, and things not going so well for our friend Daniel Medvedev, who has a bit of a temper. He got double bageled by Matteo Berrettini, who's not even ranked these days. Was a nice player back in the day, but Daniel Medvedev double bageled by Matteo Berrettini after a pretty good showing, by the way, at the Australian Open earlier this year, where it looked like maybe he was starting to get things righted. He got a warning. I guess it didn't matter all that much. But Daniel Medvedev falling on hard times right now, and this is the sort of stuff you see before guys sort of go off the deep end in their career. Oh, look, there's a few more rackets. So if he breaks that one, he'll have a few more left to go through. But he won't be doing it in Monte Carlo, where his tournament came to an end pretty quickly after being beaten 6-love by Matteo Berrettini. I have to say, as somebody who has broken a toe kicking a bowling bag at various bowling events that I've bowled in over the years, I can't really, laugh too much at the expense of Daniel Medvedev, because at least he just broke his racket. I've broken toes kicking bowling bags with 16-pound balls still in those bags. So I guess I'm not one to talk. It's going to do it for us. Put a wrap on this Wednesday edition of the show. Thank you to our guest, Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. David Ardsma, MLB insider, or I should say analyst, for joining us for our Inside Baseball segment. All of you at home for watching as well. I'm Jason Page. We'll see you back here on Thursday for another edition of Sports Wrap. Sam Yarnell will be here. Dennis Bernstein will talk some hockey with us as well. The Masters get started on Thursday. I'm trying to find a reason to get excited about it. I haven't succeeded yet. We'll see if there's a storyline that pops that gets me excited for it. The par 3 contest is on Wednesday. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Bye-bye.